all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of it is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.
We'll let the media, I didn't say fake news, please. I don't, there are too many professionals. So I refuse to call you fake news, all right? See how nice I am? They say, what are you? Show me.
President Trump rips Representative Thomas Massie as he expresses optimism in the primary challenge against the Kentucky Republican. He took to Truth Social this morning to predict Massie, quote, will go down as the worst Republican congressman in the long and fabled history of Congress. President went on to call the representative, as well as former GOP lawmakers Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, as losers. He concluded his post by saying hopefully Massie will lose big against Ed Galrine, who is praised as a great American patriot.
So I just became the mayor of New York.
Mayor of New York City. You guys know how hard that is? It is. Like, he can control the funding and everything like that. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no. So, you know, like, we're focused on, like, how to make the most expensive city in America, like, affordable for everybody.
Most expensive city. Like, you guys know how crazy that is, right?
It is.
Okay, so...
It takes talent.
Okay, so, like, back to the work, right? So every day we're just trying to ask ourselves, like, what can City Hall do? You know, how can we deliver universal childcare?
Childcare. That's very important. And the fact that you're even thinking about that shows how good of a person he is. He's a really good person. Honestly, like, how can you not love this guy?
That's what God showed you.
How can you not love this guy?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. It's like, you know, if you know anybody who has kids, tell them that now we're actually going to make it.
You know a lot of people. He knows 100 people.
Yeah.
He has 5 kids.
You have 5 kids?
He has 5 kids. And he has cousins. He has cousins in Yemen that has 100 kids. Oh my God. He can definitely help you with that.
Okay.
Being after you told them that you would commerce ties with them, are they cooperating with the United States? Spain.
No, they're not. I think they're not cooperating at all. Spain, I think they've been very bad. Very bad. Not good at all. We may cut off trade with Spain.
You guys all trade with them?
I don't know what Spain's doing. They've been very bad to NATO. They get protected. They don't want to pay their fair share. And they've been that way for many years, actually. Let me give you the good news. The people of Spain are fantastic. The leadership, like you. The leadership, not so good.
It allows ICE to kick tens of millions of people off the rolls, and they don't tell them until Election Day, and you show up and you say, you're not registered anymore. You're not registered here. You're not on the rolls.
But you just brought up these numbers, and can we please bring those up full again? Because the president is right. This is an extraordinarily popular idea. Should you have voter ID? Yes, you should. 84% all voters. 70% of Democrats agree, but apparently not 70% of the Democrats in the Senate. 96% Republicans. And look at the independent number. So this is a big mover for the midterms. 84% of independents believe that you should have ID to vote. But one of the controversial things.
They started talking about mines, so we hit 28 mine chips as of this moment, 28. Like using the same weapon, the exact same weapon that we use against the drug dealers in the water. We have, as an example, we had tremendous drugs pouring in through the waters, through the sea, and now we have almost none. It's down 97% through water. Now we'll do it through land. The land is easier than water.
Yes, you just said it is a little excursion, and you said it is a war. So which one is it? Well, it's both. It's both.
It's an excursion that will keep us out of a war, and the war is going to be. I mean, for them it's a war. For us, it's turned out to be easier than we thought.
Wednesday night, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing good. As always, be blessed in the mighty name of Jesus. Let me say it, everybody in the chat tonight. Mr. Cool Dude is on. General Plowman is on. It's going quick here. Skunk 71 is on. Auntie Mama is on. Aggravain is on. Arcadia Angel is on. Wait Away is on. Robin Aroni is on. KJ King 55 is on. Guitar Glenn is on. All right, it will not scroll for me. There we go. Scrolling for me now. Look at that. I fixed it myself. Mike Griffith is on. Granite 2468 is on. Wait Away is on. Laura Jean Lynn is on. Big Jim Go Blue is on. Sunwoo 45 is on. Veronica 18201 is on. Let me see here. Bud 64 is on. The one and only Release the Hog is on. Prayerworks 2 is on. Peg McGroin is on. Deb Powell 50 is on. Jules 21 Hours is on. Jim Brody is on. Trev McGroin is on. Keeper 1376 is on. K4 VMS is on. Let me see. What is that? Fifth Tonka? Something like that. Let's go. We're on Fifth Tonka, if I said it right. Patrina C is on. Luann 5 is on. Let me see here. Scrolling down. Sheila K is on. If I didn't get it already, Granite 2468 is on. N. Johns 127 is on. Jim Kohler is on. Let me see. Serene Pickle is on. Let me grab a couple more here and we'll get rolling. Starting off with, can anybody guess? Iran. Biggie 926 is on. Milwaukee James is on. Let me see here. Grab a couple more here if I can get a couple more that I haven't seen yet. Let me see here. Scrolling down. Michigan Exposed is on. Charlie 340 is on. Kansas Law Dog is on. Rifadota is on. All right, scrolling, trying to get to the bottom here. Supergirl 21 is on. LA 106 Times is on. Grab one or two more. Let me see. I haven't seen yet. If I can, scrolling down. Leon Fish Puppy is on. Uncle Wally is on. Love you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. All right, so let's get to Iran. Now, the latest reports out of Iran are you've got these drone boats that are out there. We've got a United States oil tanker currently on fire from an Iran drone boat that they're droning around. They've done some other damage to, I believe it's at least another oil tanker. Basically, a whole lot of minor incidences, so to speak. Obviously, the galactic level of violence is being done by the United States. In other words, we are absolutely decimating Iran, along, of course, with Israel decimating Iran. I'll show you some other footage, but we could spend all night. I could show you footage from Iran all night long. It's really not my angle, but that's basically what's happening. Is you basically have an insurgency sort of response to a massive military effort. You know, Aaron and I were talking about it before the show. They are blowing up. The United States is blowing up small vessels that are allegedly dropping mines. And then Aaron said, well, then they are dropping mines then. I think they're dropping mines, but not on the level of having to report it on the news. Because if it's basically like private vessels, sort of, they're small boats, undetectable by military-style radar. So as Aaron said, more like drug boats. That's correct. If you actually look at some of the boats that they're blowing up, they actually look like yachts. So they're going out there and maybe dropping a few, but it's not at a military level. It is certainly not at a level that would decimate oil production or anything else. And by the way, just so everybody knows too, from one report that I saw, oil from Iran is still pouring out of Iran. Iran is still putting out pretty much the same amount of oil right now because they don't have to go through the strait, or specifically through the strait that's affected by the war. One of the two. So they're still putting out a lot of oil, but Iran has been decimated. But anyway, let's get down again to the brass tacks of this whole thing. Let's go to Bannon's War Room. Great, the people that I watch: Alex Jones, Steve Bannon. I watch Nick Fuentes. Grace Chong right here is the one who put this out. She follows me on Twitter. I follow her on Twitter. But anyway, Grace Chong video, Bannon, the makeup of the war changed Saturday night. Here's the problem. This is the problem. Again, I'm rooting for United States forces. I'm rooting for us to win this war quickly. And even if we're in this war 3 years from now, I'll still be rooting for us to win this war. But I don't think that we should be in this war. I think it was a ridiculously dumb move to get into the war. And here's one of the reasons why. Well, the makeup, according to Steve Bannon, the makeup of the war changed Saturday night. Correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron. It's Wednesday, right?
Yep.
And I believe we're day 11 of the war. Now we have a Persian nationalist movement. You have Lindsey Graham trying to get Oman, trying to get Saudi Arabia, trying to get UAE to unilaterally, so to speak, attack Iran militarily. Trump's original objective, remember now, can we all go back to this? I mean, Aaron, Joe, everybody watching, remember now, what was the original intent? Can anybody even name it anymore? I'll be honest with you, I forgot. I honestly forgot what it was. Does anybody remember what the original objective was? The original objective was, from reports on the ground, brought to you by Mossad and the CIA, which of course you can always trust, that the Iranian government had killed 30,000 protesters. We have no pictures of bodies, no evidence of that, but that is what Mossad and CIA said. So if Mossad and CIA, which are basically indistinguishable from one another, and that by the way, comes from a very reliable source. Can't remember what it was, but I can't remember. Oh, Matt, it wasn't Matt Gaetz. But anyway, they're basically indistinguishable. They work hand in glove. But anyway, so we heard that there was 30,000 protesters that were killed by the mullahs. Now, am I saying that didn't happen? I'm not saying that it didn't happen. But we have no proof that it happened. Just like we had no proof of weapons of mass destruction. Can anybody remember that too?
Yeah.
Remember that? Okay, I just want to remind everybody of that. But allegedly there was proof everywhere, and then nobody could find any weapons of mass destruction. I mean, I think we can all agree on that now, right? And you know, I mean, that's only a couple $1 trillion that were lost in Iraq and Afghanistan for weapons of mass destruction. Remember that?
Oops.
You know, just like $7 trillion spent on a cold. Remember this? Okay, we're $38.8 trillion in debt right now. And it's $1 billion a day for this war. $1 billion a day. So we spent $11 billion so far in the war. And I can guarantee it's twice as much as that. So anyway, the original objective was, if you can remember, was to back the dissidents. And you have Israel blowing up their oil refinery. How does that back the dissidents? Does that make now what, I mean, not that you could ever question Israel's motives.
No,
I mean,
of course not.
Couldn't question them, right? I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu said that they're weeks away, days away from a nuclear weapon. He started saying that in 1984. So you could never question their motives, at all. But could it be that we went in to back the dissidents, and that was used as a straw dog for Israel to blow up their refineries and turn Iran into exactly what they want it to be? You think they want a strong Persian state right next door? Is that what you think? Of course not. Yeah, here's a little secret. Israel doesn't want a strong United States. They don't want a strong Persian state because the strong United States is a threat to Israel. They don't want a strong United States, but Tom, they depend on us. Yeah, for now. For now. But anyway, so the original intent, if everybody remembers, was to go and back the dissidents to do their own overthrow. How's that working out? So we erased from existence Ali Khomeini, right? He's gone. But who's now took his place? His son. Who's now pissed that we killed his dad. So is that going to be a better leadership, or is it the standard that we go in and we replace ISIS with the Muslim Brotherhood? I mean, it's the same old thing, folks. Just because Trump does it doesn't make it right. And I know that pisses people off, and I know it costs me a lot of viewers. Just like preaching hellfire and brimstone, that if you don't turn from your sin, and you better have more than a fresh start or a new beginning, if you don't turn from your sin, you're going to hell. That pisses off a lot of Christians too. Right? So telling the truth about things, telling the truth about Israel, telling the truth about Trump, damages a lot of people because they fully believe in those two things or those two people. And well, you shouldn't. You should fully believe in the lordship of Jesus Christ, and that's it. Everything else you should take with a grain of salt and with an eye for skepticism. So the makeup of the war, Bannon, changed Saturday night. Now we have a Persian nationalist movement. So you think that all these people love us now? They loved us in Iraq the whole time, didn't they? Oh no, they were killing us with roadside bombs. So we go in there and we want to take over and we want to nation build, and everybody's avoiding those two words. But that's exactly what we're doing again. And you go in there and you have all these people, these dissidents that you were backing. Do they like you now? They like you now? That you're blowing up their oil refineries, and Israel's doing it because the Persians already didn't like the Israelis to begin with, and now you have the Israeli Air Force blowing up an oil refinery. So anyway, Trump's original objective was to back the dissident groups in Persia who hate the Ayatollah and the mullahs. Instead, Israel has managed to unite the Persian people who were not united. Play it for me. No, Pete, we can't have two separate objectives. This is now what, and it goes back to Lindsey Graham begging the Saudis to come in here. You're not going to get the Arab states to come in here because they understand the makeup of the war changed Saturday night. Now you have a Persian nationalist movement. This is why President Trump's initial objective was to support the overwhelming dissident groups in Persia that hated being under the boot of the Ayatollahs and the mullahs. Why is that not happening? Yes, they're still under huge threat, but one of the reasons here is this war shifted on Saturday night because the Israelis did something that the president absolutely didn't want to have happen, and we shouldn't be trying to gloss it over. We should be trying to address it, and we should be trying to address it with the American people. Trita Parsi, you join us now. You are, you're Iranian. You've worked with those guys, so this is not like a, and it shouldn't be an even-handed assessment. But give me your assessment of where we stand right now. Particularly, as my theory of the case is now we're into the Israelis have managed to unite the Persian people that were not united. And one of the central theses of our efforts was to make sure that we had their back as they took it in their hands to overthrow the Ayatollah in this Islamic Republic, sir.
Thank you, Stephen. Just to clarify, I was born in Iran, but my family fled when I was 4. I've studied Iran for more than 25, 30 years. And in that process, obviously, I've spoken to people on all sides, including people deep inside the Iranian government. Your assessment is absolutely correct. The attack against the oil refinery was a major, major turning point in all of this. Already prior to that, there had been signs that this war was turning in the eyes of many Iranians against Iran as a nation rather than against its theocracy. You could see that when Trump was talking about arming the Kurds, things that sounded as if the U.S. was going to support a separatist movement, fears that exist for a long time that the West is seeking Iran's dismemberment. But the targeting of the oil refineries really hit the point home that this is not about taking out the repressive capabilities of the state, the Basij, the IRGC, and then allow the population to rise up. Rather, this was targeting the nation as a whole because people in Tehran cannot breathe right now. I spoke to a person the day after. He said that he could see many people who had chosen to stay in Tehran, they gave up. They're leaving the city right now because they actually cannot breathe. And he saw that on the streets, spontaneously, some people, as they were packing up their stuff and leaving, were starting to chant slogans against the United States, against Israel. And these did not look to be, the usual supporters of the regime. I mean, the 15, 20% that would come out and protest on a regular basis in favor of the regime. These looked like a completely different segment of society. And I've heard this now from several different people. And this was the risk all along. I think we should take note of one thing.
So again, how did we go from Trump's original objective was to back the dissident groups? By the way, how hard would it be to back the dissident groups? Do some airdrops. Take out, do some really surgical strikes on the Iranian army, whatever it may be. Again, there's ways to back. Obviously, I don't know. Basically, what you're doing is what we already do all the time anyway. Why is it that we can conduct a color revolution in the Ukraine with dummies like Victoria Nuland, Jake Sullivan, McCain, and John McCain and Lindsey Graham? We can do a full color revolution there, but we can't do one in Iran? Oh, is it because Israel doesn't want a color revolution? They want complete, devastation? They want them to completely decimate it? Could that be it? It wouldn't be that, that Trump received $200 million from Miriam Adelson, right? We need to all be looking. Remember this now. How much did Elon Musk give Donald Trump? Did everybody remember? Do everybody remember what Elon Musk gave Donald Trump? $250 million. Miriam Adelson just gave him a mere $200 million. But she's the Israel lobby. It's very strange, isn't it? And Elon Musk, and he shouldn't have, by the way, didn't even get his little specialized legislation, his exemption for electric cars. He didn't even get that for his $250 million. What did Miriam Adelson and AIPAC get? AIPAC, primarily funded by OnlyFans, brought to you by OnlyFans. What did they get? They got $1 trillion invasion. Amazing, isn't it? And so far, 7 dead Americans, if not more. And so it started off as let's back basically a color revolution, which, by the way, I would have been 100% behind. Not 100% behind again, this is all, once again, you have to walk in nuance. I'm not behind a color revolution that takes down a democratically elected president of Ukraine. But for the mullahs of Iran, yeah, I'll back a color revolution. I'll back that. And I back the Maduro surgical strike also, because it's under the Monroe Doctrine. I like things that are etched in stone from history, not things that are being dictated to me out of Jerusalem, out of Tel Aviv. I do not want to be somebody else's dog. I do not want to be somebody else's dog to their tail, the tail wagging the dog. So it goes from backing distance to arming the Kurds, refinery blown up, citizens of Tehran can't breathe because of all the bombing. How is that backing the distance, bombing the living crap out of a Tehran? How is that? And now you have people, according to the intel coming from Steve Bannon, the people that are leaving the city chanting anti-American slogans that were part of the dissident groups.
Great.
Now this is all working out well, isn't it? And by the way, we're on day 11 or day 12. Maybe day 12 starts tomorrow. Day 12 of this war. We have no idea when it's going to end. We keep hearing that it's going to end at any time. And I hope that it does. And I'm rooting for Trump. And I'm rooting for Hegseth. I am. But we never should have been in this war. Here's just some footage for you. George Papadopoulos video. Newly released video shows an Iranian Shahed 136 suicide drone hitting Oman's largest oil storage facility. This is going well. At the port of Salaha. Play it for me. How many of you voted for that? Did you vote for that? When you're like, no new wars? I didn't really. Now before this war, now what we'll hear from people like Lindsey Graham, who are basically having a nationwide orgasm over this war. We didn't have, correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, you would probably know, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat too, let me know. I don't recall any drone strikes from Iran on Oman's oil facilities prior to Israel blowing up Iran's oil refinery.
Nope.
Do you? I don't. So we wouldn't have this if it wasn't for this war, correct? Correct. Alex Jones video. This is a quagmire. Play it for me.
We couldn't beat the Vietnamese because they wouldn't give up. You'd have to kill them all to do that. It's the same story over and over again, not just with our empire, but others. And the Iranians, I would say, are probably even more dangerous than the Vietnamese were. So this is a quagmire. You've already killed their leader. You've killed a bunch of their leadership. You wounded the new guy they elected, the Mullah Council. He's wounded. And the Iranians have thousands deep of people that they'll just stick in there as their Shiite leader. But even Israeli top government advisors are now leaking to the press over there saying, ooh, we probably shouldn't have done this. This is out of control. You think so? So the arrogance, the bravado, the hubris, the delusional chutzpah, bare minimum is going to wreck the world economy. Could kill the U.S. petrodollar. It's doing that. We were turning the country around and exerting force properly and doing good economic deals, and the country was coming back. And now this.
Exactly. The country's coming back, and now this. Trump doesn't realize that he's listening to the people who hate him. I mean, does anybody really believe Marco Rubio likes Trump? Do you really believe that?
No.
I mean, do you really believe that Susie Wiles loves Trump? Do you believe that? I mean, do you believe that Adelson loves Trump, AIPAC loves Trump, Lindsey Graham loves Trump? Do you believe that? And this is right out of John Bolton's playbook, and which is the opposite, who hates Donald Trump, and yet Donald Trump is doing a John Bolton thing. And Alex Jones is exactly correct. We played it on the podcast. We had the debt clock we were showing you. The debt clock has slowed dramatically. Trump was doing it. And he sabotages himself by listening to the people who are sabotaging him. I don't get it. Why would you ever want to be in this war? Again, if you want to back the dissidents, then send in the CIA, which hates you. But anyway, because they'll backdoor you anyway. But find somebody who doesn't hate you. Find the John Caracous of the world or whatever. Send them in and do it back a color revolution and overthrow the mullahs not using any military force or very targeted surgical military force or just supplying weapons or whatever it may be. I mean, again, why would you get involved in this war? It's exactly what the people who hate Trump want. Listen, would you do the things that somebody who hated you wanted you to do? I mean, you think about it. If someone hated you, they came up and told you, you know what? Drive your car at 150 miles an hour over a cliff. Would you do it? They hate you. Why would you follow their advice? Trump does not get, because he's still a believer in the establishment. He still believes in establishment media, still grants some interviews, still believes there's good people in the FBI. There isn't. He still believes that rhinos are still Republicans, like John Cornyn, like Kash Patel's a rhino, Bongino's but they are. They're fake. They're all fake. They'll all bend over, right? And he still believes in them. They're not. They're not real, but Trump still believes them, so he listens to their advice. And they dragged him into exactly what he's been preaching against for many, many years. Where am I? I'm at Eric Doherty video. Here's another one for you. Major explosion reported as the U.S. and Israel obliterate Iranian ballistic missile depots. Play for me. We're good. All right, so there you go. I just want to show you some footage. I can show you more. I can spend all day in the Strait of Hormuz. And you saw during the Alex Jones video that I was actually wrong. Iran is actually putting out more oil through the straits now than they did pre-war. How is this? I mean, can anybody explain how this? And again, I want to ask all of you right now, how has this made you richer? Has this made homes more affordable? Has this made your grocery bill go down? I'm just curious. I mean, have your potholes been filled on your roads? I'm just curious. I mean, anything at all? Remember the economy was so good that Trump was talking about mailing us all a $5,000 check? Joe, would you like a $5,000 check?
I would love one.
Okay, I just want to put that out there. Joe would like a $5,000 check. And here's the thing, I would like a $5,000 check. I would love a $5,000 check. Yep. I would outfit my garage outside $5,000. Get my fans up, get one of those portable AC, whatever it may be. I'd have that rolling for $5,000. Or maybe I pour a concrete driveway. I'll do my garage, whatever it may be. I'd love a $5,000 check, and that's all crap now. Gone. Then once again, our interests are cast aside for the interest of Israel and the military-industrial complex. Cast aside. And the warmongers like Lindsey Graham who prospered off of this, of all this. So anyway, let's go back in time, shall we? Interesting Owen Schroyer video here. Remember when Trump told the truth about Lindsey Graham? Play it for me.
Let Russia drop. For instance, this guy, Lindsey Graham. You have a guy, he's one of the dumbest human beings I've ever seen. He runs against me, okay? He runs against me for president. He starts off at 6%, and he hits me. And I start, although I did give out his phone number. I mean, that's really good. But anyway, he starts hitting me, saying vicious things, and now he starts going down. He goes to 5%, 4%. He ends up at zero. Here's a guy running for the presidency. He's at zero. He leaves in disgrace, in my opinion. I think he's disgraced. He comes here. He thinks this is going to be good. He had like 2 points here, and I had 42, right? I was at 42. He's a sitting United States Senator from South Carolina. He's at 2%. I saw him on television this morning, and I think he lost it. He's saying, Donald Trump, he couldn't even talk. He was shaking. The hatred. They say, what do you think of Donald Trump? Oh, he went crazy. The guy is a nut job. I mean, and honestly, I don't want his endorsement. I don't want anything to do with him. And his thinking, he says, I know so much. He knows about the military. I could push him over with a little thimble. Boom. I look at a guy like Lindsey Graham. Then I hear his theory on the war. You'll be in there forever. You'll be in there, and you'll end up starting World War III with a guy like that, too. We don't want World War III over Syria. Okay, we don't want do we agree with that? We don't want World War. But I watched him on Fox today, I have never seen a guy I don't think I've ever seen a guy so totally out of control. They mentioned my name. He went literally crazy this morning. So he got out of the race, Bill. He was at, is this correct? He was at zero. And he still didn't want to get out of the race. You know, I often say these guys that are zero, why do they stay? Wouldn't you I think I'd crawl in a corner and I'd hide. I would just sort of put out a release. I've left the race. I wouldn't even give a news conference. I'd be too embarrassed. But anyway, I think he's a disgrace. I think Lindsey Graham is a disgrace, and I think you have one of the worst representatives of any representative in the United States, and I don't think he should run. I don't think in this state, remember, I was at 42 and he was at 2 when he was running. In this state I'm talking about. He was at 0 nation. I mean, the guy was at 0 nationwide. I don't think he could run for dog catcher in this state and win again. I really don't.
I'm not looking for a fair fight. If we get in a fight, I want to win it. I want to win it quick. I'm in Miami. You see this hat? Free Cuba. Stay tuned. Yep. The liberation of Cuba is upon us. It's just a matter of time now. You see this hat? Make Iran great. President Trump said the only way to make Iran great is for the people to take over. We're marching through the world. We're cleaning out the bad guys. We're going to have relationships with new people that will make us prosperous and safe. I've never seen anybody like it. This is Ronald Reagan plus. Donald Trump is resetting the world in a way nobody could have dreamed of a year ago. He is the greatest commander-in-chief of all time. Our military is the best of all time. Iran is going down, and Cuba is next.
All right. Well, we'll be watching what's next on Cuba for sure. Got a lot of hats.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm taking a glimpse at the chat. I love you guys. I do. I love you. But people are talking about different things and, negativity or whatever. It's not negativity, folks. I mean, if you side with Lindsey Graham, just be honest, you side with Lindsey Graham on this particular part of the Trump agenda. You do. Just say, I agree with Lindsey Graham. We should blow Iran off the map. I mean, I don't know how you backed no new wars and then you back this. And then basically all the people that are for this war were all part of the COVID hoax too. So they all espoused their wisdom then, and we all recognized that they were stupid about the vaccine, stupid about COVID, but now they're suddenly right about Iran, right? It's not doom and gloom. It's just facts. I mean, this is the way that it is. Trump is a fallible human being just like the rest of us. I have not run my life perfectly. He's not running this administration perfectly. It's not doom and gloom. It's simple facts. He said no new wars, and where are we at? Day 11 of a new war. That's a fact.
Yep.
That's just a fact. I mean, you can support the war if you want, but you have to acknowledge that Trump did not keep his promise of no new wars. Because this is our second attack on Iran since he took office, and we did the Maduro thing too. So, and again, it's not a war it's not part of the Monroe Doctrine, which Greenland would have been, which the Maduro raid was. That's the Monroe Doctrine. When we control our hemisphere, that's the Monroe Doctrine. I support the Monroe Doctrine, which would mean if he actually started a new war under the Monroe Doctrine, I would be honest and say, well, Trump has started a new war.
Yeah.
I would be honest about it. So that's the whole thing. I mean, it's again, we can all still be on the same side and just disagree on the war. You can, but you cannot acknowledge that you're not currently on Lindsey Graham's side. You are. You agree with him. That the world is a better place without Iran. Okay, well, when's it going to stop? Because the world's a better place without A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Right? I mean, where's it going to end? I prefer a great economy for me. I prefer a great economy for the citizens of the United States of America, not a $38.8 trillion debt, which, by the way, that in and of itself destroys all of you pro-war people. Because who's paying for this thing? Who's paying for it? There we are. I mean, again, 25 years ago, we were less than $1 trillion in debt. We're $38 trillion in debt. Do you honestly believe that the Fed is paying for this? The Fed is printing money and borrowing off the money that they're printing. Folks, come on. We don't even have money to fight a war. It's all fake. I mean, again, I don't understand those of you who are conservatives, how you don't want to conserve. And what did Trump approve today? Did anybody know? 170 million gallons worth of oil being brought out of the what? Strategic Oil Reserve, which is already way low because of Biden. Aren't you glad we won? He's doing the same thing Biden did, just for a different reason. And MAGA people come out and say, this is what it's for. It's for dire times. Why do we have to have a dire time? Why? What threat is Iran to you, everybody? They don't have a missile delivery system, nor will they for forever now. They don't have a missile delivery system. Since 1984, they've been days away from a nuclear weapon. according to Benjamin Netanyahu. So again, you're going to have to acknowledge too, by the way, that you're on Benjamin Netanyahu's side on this. So go ahead. You can do that if you want. And again, we can still vote for the same person. Who am I voting for in 2028? I don't know yet. I'll see who runs. I'm going to vote. I will vote over. I'm not going to vote for a Democrat. That's for sure. I'm not going to vote for some Green Party leftist either. I'm going to vote for the best candidate, which probably will be a Republican. So we'll probably vote for the same person. But doesn't mean that because you voted for a person, that makes them right.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it right because that is the way, that's what people do with their Christianity too. They discover a sin that they want to commit. Like she's just too hot to resist. So now what I'm going to do is make my fornication part of Christianity. Where, you know what, God understands and we all have our ups and downs. And it's all learning lessons and His grace will accommodate my unrepentant sin. No, what you simply say is what? If you're going to fornicate, listen, I've sinned a lot since I've been a Christian. But every time that I was living in any measure of sin, I knew I was going to burn. And I would tell you flat out, I'm going to burn. I'm going to burn. If I die in the state that I am, I'm burning in hell for all of eternity. Because that's what's fact. And what's fact here is all of us were promised no new war. That's what we were promised. Promised no new war. And now we're in 11 days of warfare against the very country that we never wanted to attack. And you saw Trump back in 2015-16 obliterating Lindsey Graham. And now they're hand in glove. How's that even possible? That's like a Christian being hand in glove with Satan. How do you go from being anti-Satan to hand in glove with Satan? I don't get it. Here's another benefit of the war. Colin Rugg video. Knew the FBI sent a warning to California police departments that Iran could launch drones at the West Coast, according to ABC News. Play it for me. Let me explain, Aaron, just side by side. What this is this is a propaganda film that was released from Iran. Aaron, just let it run. I'll just read the article. ABC News says it has reviewed an alert that was sent at the end of February. We recently acquired information, ABC News speaking, that as of early February 2026, Iran allegedly aspired to conduct a surprise attack using unmanned aerial vehicles from an unidentified vessel off the coast of the United States homeland, specifically against unspecified targets in California, in the event that the U.S. conducted strikes against Iran. In the event that the U.S. conducted strikes against Iran. The alert says, so this was not a result of the war, so I take back what I said. So I was wrong. We have no additional information on the timing, method, target, or perpetrators of this alleged attack. The video below, the one that I'm showing right now, released by Iran's Fars News Agency, a state-affiliated outlet. So they put this out. One of those drones right there are the ones that you saw blowing up the oil tanker, the oil refinery holding tank in Oman. So anyway, that's where we're at. So here's the thing. I don't think they can reach California, but they put out a threat that they would. All right, let's shift topics now. Grace Chong video. Going now again, gloom and doom again. Gloom and doom. Gloom and doom. Again, did this happen or did it not happen? Because Axios reports James Blair told Republicans to stop talking about mass deportations until after the midterms. Did you vote for that? Oh, it's gloom and doom. It's 4D chess. So tell me how that is. How does Iran and stopping talking about mass deportations? I want everybody to explain to me how that's 4D chess. How's that 4D chess? This is all part of the master plan. Trust the plan. I mean, $38.8 trillion worth of debt, because when Trump took office, $36.6 trillion in debt. So we've gone up $2 trillion since he's been in office. So can you explain to me the 4D chess? I would love to know what it is. I would love to know. Or you just simply say, Trump is wrong here. How hard is that? How hard is it to say Trump? Because Trump is very right on the border. He's basically shut down the southern border. Yeah. Very, very right. He secured multi-trillion dollars worth of investments into our economy. Very right. Maduro, Monroe Doctrine, right. Blew it on Greenland. Should have just taken it. There's nobody there anyway. Should have taken it. But anyway, so here it is. Axios reports James Blair told Republicans to stop talking about mass deportations at their meeting at Doral. Play for them.
Far be it from me to say that the clips that somebody's watching it live when you were on about your new mass deportation coalition, and particularly the momentum. I've never seen really a launch of a new entity that has as much heat and background. As President Trump would say, you're hot. And then we get this story this afternoon. And from Caputo, I mean, he's the most dialed in reporter about the White House. When they actually want to put something out, they go there, and this actually had Blair's name on it. It wasn't like they were hiding it. So the story that broke after Hal was on the show this morning to talk about the Mass Deportation Coalition is James Blair, who's the political director over the White House. They had a meeting, I guess, down at the conference they had where the president talked yesterday that we covered live. I think it was a couple of day conference. And I think they actually had some meetings where they said the one thing they don't want to talk about anymore until after the midterms is mass deportations. Now, does that make any sense at all? Mass deportations, it's about saving the country from, I don't know, the 13, 15, 17, 20, 25 million that Biden basically brought in here on his watch. It's one of the central issues that we won the 2024 election, really blew out everything. Does it make sense to do that? I mean, you've put together.
I mean, did you all vote for that to have a meeting? These are all basically it's a meeting down for White House strategy for winning the midterms. How many of you voted for, we go in, we send ICE in, a couple thousand agents into Minneapolis and then leave with our tail between our legs? Anybody vote for that? I didn't vote for that. What I would have voted for is send more.
Yep.
That's what I voted for. When Tim Walz, and you have the mass Somali corruption. How's Aaron? Can you find all the FBI arrests for the mass Somali corruption inside of Minneapolis?
We have zero.
How about Ilhan Omar? Have we gotten to the bottom of her lack of citizenship in this country?
Nope, she's still
okay. I'm just curious. I mean, can you even locate where Kash Patel is? Because here we are again. I mean,
nope.
I have not seen Kash Patel since he was drinking beer with the U.S. hockey team.
Nope.
The Pam Bondi?
Nope.
Because there's lots of criminals out there, lots of Somali fraud. I mean, by the way, it's not just Somali fraud. You have Somali fraud in Columbus, Ohio. You have Somali fraud in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You got Somali fraud in Portland, Maine. It's right there. Well, nobody's doing anything, but we are bombing the living crap out of a bunch of Persians. Spending $1 billion a day. I mean, how many of you would rather have mass deportations and arresting Democratic Party criminals? I'd like that. That's what I voted for. I mean, I'm just curious, but I don't even see the FBI doing anything. I mean, I know Kash Patel loves to fly the FBI jet around just so he can follow his wife in their concert tour, which I don't even know who his wife is. But anyway, so I'm just curious why nothing ever gets done. And then they're meeting down there. And how many of you want to win the midterms so that Trump doesn't get impeached over and over and over again by Hakeem Jeffries? I do. You're like, Tom, you're really anti-Trump tonight. Yeah, right. But I still want Trump to be the president. I still voted for Trump 3 times. I still want him to be successful. And I still acknowledge his successes. So why in the world would you want to, you actually sent James Blair down to this meeting. Trump was there the day before. And then you have these breakout sessions, these strategy sessions, where I assume that they're meeting with Republican politicians or Republican campaign strategists or both. Why are you telling them? And by the way, this is confirmed. This is from James Blair, the political director of the White House. Why are you telling people not to focus on mass deportations? So this was a great point brought up by Nick Fuentes. He said this. You don't want to talk about mass deportations because they have about a 49% disapproval rating. So they have 51% approval rating. Which, by the way, that polling has to be off because the latest polling actually shows far higher approval ratings for mass deportations. But again, it depends on how you ask the question. But we'll just say, no matter what, 51% of America is in favor of mass deportations. That makes sense, right, so far? All right. In America, I'm trying to remember the graph last night, Aaron. I think it was, I'm trying to remember exactly how many of Americans approved of this war in Iran.
30%.
30%. So wouldn't you rather, so how does it make sense to anybody that you're telling people not to talk about something that's 51% approval rating and you're conducting a war that has a 70% disapproval rating? There it is right here. 36% of America approve of this war. It's just basically the establishment Republican morons. That's it. They approve of this war. That's it. Now, and if you agree with them, you agree with them. You're choosing to follow a path that I'm not following. I'm 57 years old. I remember all the wars. I remember them all. Every last one of them. And I'm just trying to remember how they benefited the United States ever. Not one ever. No. All we do is replace one ISIS regime with another ISIS regime. ISIS regime. It's hard to say ISIS regime. That's tough. But anyway, I just would love to know how explain to me. I'd love to tell me how I trust that plan. Trust the plan. How do I trust the plan? When James Blair, the political director from the White House, is going down and meeting with Republicans and telling them not to discuss Trump's strongest position, which is mass deportation. You think you're going to win that way? Does anybody believe that kowtowing to the demands of your opposition will win you elections? What you do is double down and secure your base. Otherwise, I'm always going to come out and vote, but people I know won't. They're not going to go out and vote. They're not going to do it. All right, so let's go to this one. Let's go to the SAVE Act, shall we? Eric Doherty video, CNN. How many people favor voter ID according to polls? Harriet and CNN. Play for me.
What's the racial breakdown on this, right? Because I think a lot of people make the argument that people of color, non-white Americans, have a harder time procuring a photo ID to vote. But even here, take a look here. Favor photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
So just jumping ahead to my next slide as I talk about the previous video, who's thwarting the SAVE Act? That dastardly Democrat Chuck Schumer. No. For those of you that are for the Iran war, the Iran war supporting John Thune is thwarting the SAVE Act. Did you trust him on the Iran war, right? Why? Why would you trust Ted Cruz on the Iran war? We've shown you how much money. Ted Cruz is the #1 recipient of AIPAC money. You don't think that means anything? I mean, can we all stop? Can we all stop playing pretend? We found it disgusting when people were wearing masks during COVID. You found that to be repulsive, but yet everyone can pretend that Iran's a threat, just like COVID was never a threat. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so here it shows you right here. This is who's in favor of voter ID. Favor photo ID to vote. So we'll just call it voter ID, proof of citizenship. Here it is, 85% of whites, 82% of Latinos, 76% of blacks, covering all political spectrums. There it is. Why is this not being done? And why are we not insisting? I'm not going to lapse too far into the whole filibuster thing of last night, but why are we not insisting upon a real talking filibuster? Why are we not holding those accountable who are blocking a talking filibuster instead of a phantom filibuster? If you don't know what I'm talking about, I didn't either until I had researched it, so I'm not claiming to be smarter than anybody else. I'm just saying that you just do some research to understand the difference. But anyway, why is it not happening? Because Republicans are blocking it. Republicans, you have to have again, how stupid the filibuster is. You have to have 60 votes to overcome a filibuster and 51 votes to pass legislation. See how stupid our system is? And you don't even have to physically filibuster anymore. You just have to say you're going to filibuster. Phantom filibuster, a non-talking filibuster. That's all you have to do. They don't have to actually put in the energy, because Democrats don't want Republicans to put in the energy, and Democrats don't want Republicans to do it, and Republicans don't want Democrats to do it because they're all butt buddies. They're all little buddies. We don't want you to have to be up there and talk 24/7. No. So you just tell us you're going to filibuster, and we'll count it as a filibuster. That's what's blocking it. Yeah. You're like, oh yeah, but they still wouldn't have the votes to overcome the filibuster. We'll make the Democrats do a talking filibuster for the next month, and they might give out. That's what you're supposed to do. We actually pay John Thune $250,000 a year, plus all of his money they receive from outside sources. And I'm not saying Thune because I don't know his stock trading deals, but anyway, they all make a whole lot of money on insider trading from Capitol Hill because they regulate the very parts of the economy that they invest in. But anyway, that's all just, that's just all coincidence. Yeah, of course, that's what we have to believe. But anyway, so it should be passed, but who's blocking it? It would be John Thune blocking it. So Benny Johnson video, Sean Davis reveals the real reason why John Thune is protecting rhinos who are blocking the Save America Act. Play for me.
Be in the mind of Mitch McConnell, Susan Collins, John Curtis, and Lisa Murkowski. What is it? Is it that they think that their seats will be nuked if only if only Republicans and American citizens can vote? Like, what's the motivation there, Sean? Sorry for the long question.
Lisa Murkowski is a Democrat, so that's easy. A Democrat, by the way, who kept her seat because Mitch McConnell went out of his way to keep her seniority, even when she left the party after losing a primary. But Murkowski's a Democrat, so that's why she opposes it. Susan Collins, she's from Maine. Maine's weird. I can almost just spot her. Like, okay, Susan, you've got tough re-elects all the time. It's not popular there. Your state's getting overrun by Somalis, whatever. The other guys, McConnell, Curtis, I don't think that it's actually that they oppose voter ID. It's that they oppose having to work to implement it. And it comes down to what they view the Senate as. To Mitch McConnell, the Senate is his means of protecting his own power. He goes out and raises a ton of money. He's able to go and browbeat corporations into donating to his PAC. That's how he gets power in the Senate. And if he has to spend his time in the U.S. Senate, if he has to spend 2 months exhausting a Democrat filibuster in order to pass something that the American people want, that is not worth it to him, because it takes 2 months away from delivering for his actual constituents, which are corporate lobbyists on K Street.
Where do you stand on the Save America Act? Do you, support getting this legislation passed to protect elections?
Not as it is drafted, no.
Why not?
The implementation in a rural state like Alaska is going to disenfranchise an extraordinary majority. And while I support citizenship voting and voting ID, I want to make sure that it's implementable.
You previously said that nuking the filibuster would be taking a wrecking ball to Senate rules. Is that no longer true?
I said I'd be open to reforms.
What would you say to those who say you just changed your mind to win the president's endorsement?
I'd say that's not true.
You also said that if leadership...
I think we're through. Go ahead. Go away.
Thank you.
These are the wonderful people that run our country, by the way, and all those people are Republicans. Lisa Murkowski, listen to what Mitch McConnell did for Lisa Murkowski. Tell me how Mitch McConnell is a Republican. Tell me how he is. I'd love to explain to me how exactly he's a Republican. John Thune, of course, votes 46% of the time Democrat. But anyway, and John Cornyn votes 49% of the time Democrat. But anyway, so Murkowski dumped the Republican Party, became a Democrat, lost her primary, and Mitch McConnell left her seat open for her to switch back to Republican, run as a Republican, and win again via ranked choice voting in Alaska. So that again, and again, I want everybody to understand the philosophical stuff behind this, because it really is important to understand it. Because there's no white hats and black hats. It's not Republicans that are there fighting for you. In D.C., I'm talking. You may have Republicans fighting for you locally, counties, cities, whatever it may be, even states. But at the national level, it is a disingenuous, disgusting. Swamp is not the right word. Cesspool in D.C. Because what you have there are a bunch of people that on the Republican side that run as right wingers and legislate as left wingers, so that their true agenda can actually be brought forward in a more palatable way for you. In other words, they'll say Mitch McConnell confirmed conservative justices. Yeah, people like John Roberts. How's that worked out for us? Not good. But John Roberts overturned, or was part of overturning, Roe v. Wade. He had to, or it's over. You see, they have to have a veneer of conservatism while they usher forward not just central leftism, but the veneer of central leftism, which is actually full boat leftism, in a more palatable way. It's $1 trillion at a time, to the place now we're $38.8 trillion in debt, all for leftist causes and leftist NGOs. That's where all the debt is. I mean, you even say non-government organizations are like the military-industrial complex, because that's where all the money goes. And that's where all of them profit off of through their very suspiciously poignant stock investments. Very strange, isn't it? So you just see, I wanted to show you exactly who these people are. You see who Cornyn is, who now is coming out more in favor of the SAVE Act because he needs that Trump endorsement against Ken Paxton. I wonder how favorable it will be for the SAVE Act. And there's rumor is that he's actually holding the SAVE Act as ransom against Trump to get Trump's endorsement. Like, if you go ahead and give me your endorsement, or you guarantee me your endorsement, I will push forward the SAVE Act. Is that what you voted for? I mean, we didn't vote for John Cornyn here, but maybe you're in Texas, you're watching him right now. Is that what you voted for, if you voted for Cornyn? And listen, I voted for rhinos too. I voted for Marco Rubio a couple times. I voted for him a couple times. I've ripped him hard on this show in the Trump administration, as Secretary of State and as NSA. He's done a pretty good job. He has. He said some really right-wing things. He's definitely backed Trump where he needed to. But here's the reason why we need the SAVE Act. This is why we need it. This is just an example. This is what went on. Bergen County, New Jersey, the skiff video. Bergen County, New Jersey shows 100% votes. Just showing you this from the 2020 election, all right? This is why we have to have the SAVE Act. New Jersey shows 100% votes counted with the Republican governor Citarelli, Republican governor candidate, Citarelli winning the county. Then somehow magically flips to a Democrat when a 52.2% to 47.3% final count was already established. Make it make sense. Play it for me.
Well, would you look at this? Jack Citarelli just moments ago with 83% of the vote in with a strong 42,000 vote lead. If you look to the left here, you'll see that Bergen County, the very top, the biggest county in all of New Jersey, with 100% reporting, shows Citarelli winning 52% to 47%, okay? 100% reporting. But now, miraculously, with 87% in, Bergen County, which was 100% reported, all of a sudden just happened to flip. Boy, those must have been some magic votes to flip a 100% counted county. Despite being at 100% and staying exactly the same all the way up until now. And oh, look, now Citarelli, instead of having a 42,000 vote lead, only has a 1,600 vote lead. Boy, if there was ever a state that needed a damn audit of like every election we've ever held, it's New Jersey. So once again, that's Bergen County, red for Citarelli all night with 100% reported until the 0 hour when all the news stations start shutting down and they think no one's paying attention. And then, oops, it all of a sudden flips to blue and there goes Citarelli's lead. The same sort of shady vote flipping we watched in the 2020 election. Audit New Jersey.
Yeah, that was actually from, I got that wrong. That was actually from the recent 2024 election for governor of New Jersey. This is why we need the SAVE Act. I mean, think about what just happened there. 100% of precincts reporting. Citarelli is up by 47,000 votes in the largest county in New Jersey. So then magically at what he calls the 0 hour, it shifts back to only 87% of precincts reporting and then adds a bunch of Democrat votes to justify that it was only at 87%, then shifts it back up to 100% with only a 1,100 vote lead, giving the election for the entire state to the Democrat. This is why you have to have the SAVE Act. This is why you have to have paper ballots only, which is not part of the SAVE Act, by the way. But that's why it should be that way. All right, let's have some fun at Abby Phillips' expense. Western Lensman tweet: the corrections keep getting corrected. So here's Abby Phillips. I want to correct something I said last night. The bombs thrown, get this now. Again, this goes back to, we'll show this is all CNN. Every last bit of this is CNN. And you're like, Tom, we already know CNN's corrupt. I know, but you just have to always expose them, and it forces them to make corrections and retractions like this. I want to correct something I said last night. The bombs thrown in New York City over the weekend by ISIS-inspired attackers was thrown into a crowd of anti-Muslim protesters and not specifically targeted at Mayor Mamdani, who wasn't there. How Abby Phillips goes on national TV and espouses that the bombings specifically thrown at Jake Lang's anti-Muslim protest, specifically thrown at him. They were in front of Mamdani's mansion. He's in the middle of Ramadan right now. He's claiming he can't do certain things right now because he's doing a Ramadan fast. And aren't you glad that that's what you voted for in NYC? But anyway, so she claims that the bombs were thrown at Mamdani. How exactly would you throw a bomb at somebody who wasn't there? And she knows the entire time he wasn't there. The wording wasn't accurate and didn't catch it. And I didn't catch it ahead of time. I apologize for the. Oh, you did. How do you? I mean, again, that's like Biden. You know, I graduated at the top of my class. No, you graduated 76 out of 80. No, 74th out of 80. 6 from the bottom. That is not. I didn't catch it. That's a pathological, sociopathic lie. And it's the same thing here with Abby Phillips. You look at what happened. The use of the word specifically implies Mamdani may have been a target when this is factually inaccurate based on every report and testimony, and every testimony from the two terrorists themselves. So the ISIS terrorists would go blow up a Ugandan ISIS member? How does that make sense? Bombs were thrown at protesters and police in order to injure and murder as many civilians as possible. All right, go to the next one for me, Joe. Whatever the next one is. It's video. Okay, sorry. Western lesbian video. Let's remind ourselves what a truth teller Abby Phillips is. Play for me.
Conservatives are living in a completely different information world than liberals. And breaking that down needs to be done. Because when you don't ever even hear the facts, it's hard to even know that you're wrong. And that happens a lot. I think that one time that person brings up something that is debunked and false, and I debunk it at the table, might be the very first time that someone out there has heard an alternative point of view.
I love the liars who are in charge of policing speech. The debunkers that have to be debunked themselves over and over and over again. That is Abby Phillips, CNN. Reminder, here's what CNN put out. Remember this from yesterday. Remember, the two Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City. This is the same, of course, network that she works for. She's claiming, so on one hand, you have her live panel show saying that, she is saying that these Muslim attackers were attacking Muslim Mayor Zohran Mamdani during Ramadan. Somebody put in the chat. Let's see if I get you. Aggravating Ramadan celebration of the 9/11 memorial. Gosh, I hope you're being facetious. Is that true?
I'm going to look.
Oh, God, Aaron's looking. I hope, aggravating, I hope you're kidding. But that's disgusting. But anyway, yeah, how long? 9/11, man, it's 25 years ago, and they now have a Ugandan Muslim mayor of the city that was attacked by Muslims. But anyway, two Muslim teenagers crossed. So again, Abby Phillips espousing bombs were being thrown by these ISIS attackers at Ugandan Muslim mayor Zohran Mamdani. All right, that's what she claims. And then simultaneously, two Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City Saturday morning for what could have been a normal day, enjoying the city during abnormally warm weather. But in less than an hour, their lives would be drastically changed. Remember, their lives would have to be drastically changed. They were just going in to enjoy the weather with their nail bombs. As the pair would be arrested for throwing homemade bombs that they brought with them to enjoy a day of warm weather. Imagine how galactically asinine you have to be to write this. During an anti-Muslim protest outside of Zohran Mamdani's home, here's what we know so far. And then, of course, they retracted this. Well, the Babylon Bee, of course, responded to this. Put up the next one for me. CNN reports of Japanese teenagers who came to Hawaii for what could have been a beautiful day at the beach. That's exactly what CNN is. It really is exactly what CNN is. All right, so let's look at this one. Grace Chong video. Now, I guess you could call this positive towards Trump. And then I got another positive one for Trump right after this. So Grace, this is speaking of the Maha movement. Grace Chong video, Dr. Jeffrey Tucker. We ran a Zogby poll on medical freedom. The results shocked even the pollsters. Play for me.
I don't like to think I'm supporting causes that are politically unpopular. At least I was curious to find out what people actually think. And I worked with Leslie Manoukian over at Health Freedom Defense Fund, and she suggested we use Zogby, and we tapped them. And these polls are kind of expensive, and also I've never done one before. And he asked us to come up with 30 questions that are even, objective, to find out what people actually think. And so we got to work over the course of 3 days and came up with 30 questions relating to health freedom, the right to bodily autonomy, vaccine mandates, whether kids should be denied education based on their vaccine status, whether students should be kicked out of school because they didn't accept the COVID shot, whether you thought that the COVID response was successfully damaging to society, and so on. We covered everything. And then the poll came back, and we were just astounded to see supermajority. Zogby himself said, Jeremy Zogby said he rarely sees supermajorities in anything. He was amazed. We're talking about 80 and 90% of people believing that people should have medical freedom and the right to refuse vaccines. 2/3 saying that students shouldn't be turned away from school because of their vaccine status, and so on. It goes through issue after issue. anywhere between 65 and even 90%. On these topics, and it's broad. It's not just Republicans. Actually, we have all the data in there. The polls taken from Republicans, Democrats, and Independents, and overwhelming support across all groups for these hugely important topics.
See, and I don't mean, since the main topic tonight is, of course, Iran, I don't mean to draw everything back to Iran, but of course, it's the major story. So how about instead of us going into a new war, why don't we focus on Maha? Wouldn't that be fun? We have a lot of great things going on. You just had Joseph Ladapo here, the Surgeon General of the state of Florida, basically just said all vaccines are no longer mandatory for kids to be in schools. Maybe based on some of this polling data done by Zogby. It was a historical leftist, by the way. 80 to 90% say people should have the right to refuse vaccines. 2/3 say students should not be denied education based on vaccine status. And by the way, again, that is polling across all political spectrums. Why don't we have that going on? I would love for that to be going on way more, but we don't hear We don't hear anything about it because we are in the middle of an 11-day war right now. But to Trump's credit, great job on that. Great job that we have RFK Jr. running the CDC. Great job there. Absolutely great job. Now, we looked it up. I got this from Agravain, the Ramadan ceremony. Here's where it is. March 2026, Ramadan ceremony involves a Ramadan iftar, fast-breaking meal, whatever that is, hosted by the Fire Department of New York City, Islamic Society at FDNY headquarters, not the 9/11 memorial itself. During the event on March 4th and 5th, 2026, participants placed prayer rugs in the FDNY lobby directly in front of the memorial plaque listing the 343 firefighters killed on 9/11 by people who have prayer rugs.
Yeah.
So they it's mockery. It's open freaking mockery. It really is. The Muslims that are involved in that are mocking those dead firefighters. They're mocking them. They would never say it because they're committing taqiyya. They're lying to advance Islam, which they're allowed to do according to their Quran. They're committing taqiyya. They're mocking. This is open mockery. Imagine you are in charge of the FDNY and you allow a Ramadan ceremony where they are dropping rugs in front of a memorial honoring the 343 firefighters that died as a result of the people that are now putting rugs in front of the memorial. Really, really interesting. All right, let's go to the next one. Eric Doherty video. Breaking. In a massive vindication for President Trump, Jeffrey Epstein's accountant, he was testifying in front of Congress, becomes the fifth witness, number 5, to testify under oath that Trump was not involved with Epstein. Play it for me.
First of all, Mr. Khan's answering every question thus far. He's completed 2 full hours of depositions. I would say we are possibly at the halfway point. It could last more than 4 hours, but he confirmed there were 5 clients that paid money to Epstein, and that was Les Wexner, Lynn Dubin, Stephen Sinofsky, the Rothschilds, and Leon Black. We've already deposed Wexner, and we're going to be deposing Leon Black very soon. Mr. Khan testified under oath that, because the Democrats asked this question, that he had never seen any type of transaction to Trump or anyone in his family. That makes the 5th witness now that's testified under oath that they've never seen any involvement by Donald Trump or their family. That includes Khan, Bill Clinton, Wexner, Acosta, and Barr. So I know that's the obsession of a lot of the media with respect to the Epstein investigation, but I will again remind us, the investigation's about getting the truth to the American people, trying to figure out how the government failed, answer questions we all have. Was he an agent? Was our government involved in any type of cover-up in any way, shape, or form? And, finally, what can be done to prevent this from happening in the future?
So just another exoneration, the 5th witness, number 5, to say that Donald Trump had nothing to do with Epstein. Absolutely nothing. And his number one through 5 financial supporters, all Jews. But there's nothing to see here.
No.
Couldn't be Mossad or anything, right?
No.
Couldn't be that. But anyway, let me show you this. Speaking of New York, let's go to this one. Eric Doherty video just in. Officers are furious with Ugandan Mayor Mandani for snubbing an heroic NYPD chief who lunged over barricades to detain Muslim bombers, instead hosting pro-Palestine foreigner Mahmoud Khalil for dinner. Play for me.
Say Mayor Zoran Mamdani should have had that chief over for dinner, not anti-Israel activist Mahmoud Khalil, who came over to the governor's or the mayor's mansion for a Ramadan dinner the other night. Khalil, for people watching, wondering who that is, he's the Columbia grad we used to see on protest duty all the time. He's fighting a federal deportation case after the White House says he supported Hamas during those protests, which he denies. Back out here live, a lot to this story, a lot going on with the media coverage. So we'll keep an eye on it. We know both suspects. Shannon will be back in court.
Just turn around,
Aaron, if you could just switch back, put that. Yeah, that's perfect right there. Okay. So Mamdani, it's actually Mom. I keep saying Mon, but it's hard to say. Mamdani actually hosts Mahmoud Khalil. That's the guy fighting to stay in the United States after his pro-Palestine protests inside of the United States that Marco Rubio is always saying we have the right to deport anybody we want, which is right. But anyway, so instead of actually supporting this guy who heroically jumped on a guy that just threw a bomb, who knows what this guy had on him when he jumped on him, heroically jumps on him, he gets snubbed by Mamdani. And instead, Mamdani actually hosts a person who shares the same religion as the bomber, because Mamdani also shares the same religion as the bomber. Very strange, isn't it? And just another example. I got to show you this last thing. Libs a TikTok tweet. Go to the next one for me, guys. Libs a TikTok tweet. Breaking: Michigan Rep Karen Whitsett announces she won't seek re-election, saying the Democratic Party does not align with Christian values. In the end, I have to answer to God. She's very correct. Just as man is destined to die once, and after that to face judgment. Hebrews 9:27. It's impossible to be a faithful follower of Jesus Christ while remaining a member of the Democratic Party as it exists today. I have compromised my relationship with Jesus too long. Boom, wow. Boom, boom, boom. Love you. You are freaking awesome. That's a great way to end the show right there. All right, we got any rants, Aaron?
We do. We have 4.
All right, 4 rants. Let's go.
All right.
Conservative Warrior 65 donated $5. One of the heads of the beast seemed to have had a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. The whole world was filled with wonder and followed the beast.
Oh, there you go. Quoting the book of Revelation. Well, I don't know what your point was, but I like you preaching the Bible. Go to the next one for me.
Jules 2100s donated $10. What a mess. Thank God we have Jesus.
There you go. Amen. Amen, Jules. Love you. Appreciate it. Go to the next one for me.
Robin Aroni donated $5. Thanks, TLP, for always bringing us the facts.
Love Robin Roney. Hugs me every Sunday. I love her. Such a sweet lady. I see one from Mike Griffith. Is that up next? Mike Griffith's up.
Mike Griffith donated $10. Thanks.
Oh, yeah,
see you
Chris
Friday
Ann
night for Chris Ann Hall. Don't miss her awesome constitutional lawyer.
Mike, I am so glad you said that. Thank you for doing my job for me. Chris Ann Hall will be here on Friday night here at the church. If you don't know who that is, look her up. She is the best word I could think of is fluid. She speaks fluid Constitution. I mean, she is a powerful constitutional attorney, absolute COVID warrior, absolute constitutional warrior, Bill of Rights warrior. If you can be here on Friday Friday night here at Foundation Church, come and hear Chris Ann Hall. She is freaking awesome. All right, that's it for the podcast this week from me. Tomorrow is my son's weight cut, weigh in at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'll be out of town tomorrow for most of the day. Just don't have the time to do a podcast tomorrow. I just can't do it with all that I've got to do. And then I've got the fight about at podcast time on Friday night. It's on the UFC Fight Pass. Anybody wants to see it? It's his name is the same as mine. Tom, he goes by Tommy, but Tommy Laipply, same as me. But anyway, love you guys. Join us at Foundation Church this Sunday. Well, Aaron, you got it. Foundation Church this Sunday. If you're anywhere near 13,000 South Tamiami Trail, Northport, Florida, come and see us in person. We'd love to have you. If not, join us online. I love you guys. I'm going to miss you. Aaron, give me a Trump. I'm going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you. I really am. Even
Big
those
league.
of you, listen, we disagree on the Iran war. I still love you.
Yeah.
I still love you. I do. And you may think I'm a MAGA moron for not being in favor of the war. So there you go. Whatever. We can still be friends. All right, but I love you. Stick around for the post game. It's awesome. Back here, if I don't see you Sunday morning, back here Monday night at 9 o'clock. As always, love you guys. God bless you.
What's up, Skip? Hey, back off! Back off! Go away! Fucking kangaroos.
Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device.
Republicans say Muslims don't belong here after an attempted terror attack against New York's Mayor Zohran Mamdani, and the House Speaker Mike Johnson says nothing really to condemn those comments.
Why is it so hard to believe that someone could be an exceptional athlete and a woman? If you want to protect women and daughters, she is a woman, she is somebody's daughter, and she's a woman in sports. And it just conjures up that old statement, ain't I a woman?
President Biden has spent days locked in intense preparation, surrounded by his closest advisors at Camp David. And our sources are telling us tonight that full mock debates are underway at the podium, under the lights. He's even watching tape to know exactly what he's going to see when he steps up to that lectern. His team shot a video during a walkthrough of the CNN studio. And as I reported while covering him at the White House, when Biden prepares, he does so incredibly intensively. The former president, on the other hand, who is not known for his attention to detail, is talking about how very hard it is to prepare, while at the same time insisting he doesn't need it.
Hospice. Well, hospice, we've been after that for years and years before Oz was even on the scene. California was able to stop it. This is purely political. Nothing I dislike more than the politician that sits there and lies to you. And we all just sit there rolling our eyes going, give me a break.
The guy's vacuous. He's a fucking nut. He's a sociopath. And it's your fault for voting for this guy who has zero ideas. People are like, oh, Gavin. If Gavin Newsom, does he not have handlers? Does his fucking wife not pull him aside and go, you can't just fucking speak gibberish with your hands? His hands move like he's in an origami competition. That's his like fucking hands. Like, I'm making 30 swans in 10 seconds. You know, like it's fucking.
Oh, shit. Ziggler makes it back to his feet. Is he going to deliver? Sweet. Oh!
Facing the ups and downs of life after relationships. I don't care.
Wait.
Oh my God, are we gonna make it over?
Got his ass, John. Keep going. Good shit. Got his ass, bro. He's almost there. Almost at the top. Keep going. That's another one, bro. That's another one. Keep pumping. He's swimming out on your ass, dog. You got him. Try to swim to the right. That's why you want to fight that hard.
Yeah. Hey, get this. There's a carabiner in the back of my truck. Broken carabiner.
Watch this.
That's the one.
He's a $7 million bull rider. J.B. Mooney.
This podcast is all about. We talk about a lot of political things, but underneath all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.